Okay, you instigating women and friends. Liz has a breaking story that she wanted me to relay and wouldn't give in until we put it on video. So, Liz, what's been going on?
Um, okay, so first context, we are filming in the midst of our kids returning to school. I've been thinking a lot lately just about as we reemerge, as we've been talking about, how do I come back into the world without putting so much pressure on myself, on my family. I really don't want to return to the chaos that I feel like we were living in, where we're just going all the time. So that's the context.
Okay.
I want to read you something. It's from a column, Charles M. Blow. He is a New York Times columnist, and I love his writing. And he just released a column, Contemplating Aging, which is another thing that you and I have talked about. And he just had this passage that I thought was really just moving. So I'm going to read that first, and then I'll tell you my story.
It must be a good one.
I realized that according to the odds, my life is nearly 2/3 over, that I have more summers behind me than in front of me. This doesn't mean I've grown fatalistic or even that I feel particularly old. Same. It is just a realization that the math says what the math says. And as such, I've begun to make certain adjustments to change my perspective on my life. I have started to manage my regrets and to reduce them, to forgive myself for foolish mistakes and reckless choices, to remember that we are all just human beings stumbling through this life, trying to figure it out, falling down and getting back up along the way. I have learned to cut myself some slack and get on with being a better person.
Nice.
So this story falls in the cut myself some slack. And just laugh, just the ability to just laugh at the absurdity of being human and trying to do all the things. So speaking of doing all the things, I'm in another coaching certification program focused on health and wellness. And I have to attend class twice a week. And I also have learning partners that I meet with, and lots of reading and exercises and such. So last Wednesday, a week ago, I had a very busy day at work, and then I had to go straight into the course. And I felt gross. I felt like I need to move my body. I've been charting my steps, trying to get to 8,000 to 10,000 a day. And I had like 620. So I hitched up the dogs and I took my school outside.
Yeah.
Because it's not on video. But you do have to log in, you have your own PIN. So I'm walking along, it's beautiful. I am listening. I actually chimed in on something. And I thought I had put myself back on mute. And keyword thought. And I'm walking along, and a stranger comes from the other direction, and her dog is off leash, and so are mine. And so the dogs come to say hi to each other. And I see this woman looking like she wants to socialize with me. And how do I tell her I can't talk right now? So I actually, I wave and I say, I'm in school right now. They don't know I'm out walking my dogs in the sunshine. And all of a sudden I hear the instructor pause, and I look down and I'm not on mute. And I died a little inside. And my first thought was, I'm just going to hang up and quit the program, and they can keep my money, and that's fine.
Oh my
Honestly,
gosh.
That was my first go-to. That was my go-to strategy. That was my go-to strategy. I'm gonna break up with them before they can break up with me. That was my first strategy. But I didn't let myself do that. I started thinking, okay, I need a cover up. And so one came to me. I'm not saying it was the best cover up strategy. It wasn't really a long-term thinking strategy, but I I looked at my clock for 2 minutes, my phone clock, and after 2 minutes, I pressed the button where you raise your hand. And the instructor came to me and said, "Oh, Elizabeth, you have a question." And I changed my voice to this high, breathy voice. It was kind of like Marilyn Monroe. And because I thought, that if I change my voice, they'll associate Elizabeth with that person and not the person that just disrupted the class 2 minutes ago. So I said, "Yes, hi, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about the difference between hope and cheerleading in a coaching practice." And she answered my question. And then she said, "Does that help?" And I said, "Yes, thank you very much." I made sure I put myself back on mute.
You dork.
I know. I know. I'm such a dork. And I can't not be one. It's just, so coming back to the passage I was reading, it was embarrassing. And yet I just decided that it was funny.
Yeah.
And not to, I actively said, I'm not going to feel bad about this. I'm going to laugh about this. And the best part was that very afternoon, I had ordered a couple prints from the interwebs that arrived to our house. And because I can't even remember where I bought it. It's Facebook. Facebook gets me every time. They really have me dialed in the advertising realm. So they were just some cute prints that I thought we needed. And the one that I really needed before I left on my walk is now by the front door. And it said, it's a quote. It says, "I wish I would have checked myself." And then by the bottom, it says, "Guy who wrecked himself."
So you're a dork and a sucker for marketing.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other one I ordered it's so cute. It's right at the top of the stairs when the kids come out of their bedrooms, and it says, "Pour yourself a cup of ambition, Dolly Parton." Isn't that cute?
That is cute.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think you just need to claim your superpower, which is humor, fun, laughter. You just got to go with it. Lean into it. It makes you bright and shiny and light. And
we did our strengths in the health and wellness coaching on Sunday following my disruption. And my first strength was love, and my second strength was humor.
Yeah. Yeah. Just go with it.
Just go with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do wonder, did they really know it was you when you were off mute the first time?
Well, we'll never know. That's the thing, because I'm not going to research it to find out. It's possible that the instructor had the ability to mute all lines and I was not audible.
Oh,
that is possible.
Oh, it is possible.
But we're not going to research it to find out.
But for some reason, you still felt like you needed a Saturday Night Live high voice.
That was my second go-to. My first was quit the program.
True.
And let them just have my money.
True. So now we're seeing how your brain works. Drama queen.
I told my kids about it and they just yeah. I try to make sure to tell them all that stuff because it's probably not as many embarrassing things are going to happen to them, but embarrassing things are going to happen.
Yeah, sure.
So, I mean, so many happened to me, but so many. And I just, like you said it, like a coach would say, lean into your superpower.
Lean in, babe. Yeah. Bring it in. It brings energy to others, makes people laugh and get real. I mean, yes, there's so much heavy stuff, But if we don't lighten up a little bit, we're missing so much.
Yeah, I think that that is the key to the way out for me anyway. Of this, I sent you an article about it, the term languishing,
Yeah.
which is the word to describe where we are emotionally at this point in a pandemic. Um, that it's not depression, it's just being perpetually meh,
Eh,
and just not having a lot of um energy, a lot of ability to focus, a lot of motivation. Um, and oh my God, every member of my family I immediately diagnosed us all with languishing. But I think for me, the way out is going to be to find the absurdity and the humor, to replace the focus on the meh and the just ongoing, like we were talking about the numbers climbing back up again. They're climbing where I am, and they've been climbing where you are. And I think, there's a lot of things to be hopeful about. There's a lot of things to be afraid and depressed about. And so how do we exist? How do we find meaning in that? And I guess that the answer is humor. So you can expect more dorky stories from me.
Good. And I don't want to make light of anything. I don't want to make light of the pandemic or social injustice or any of it. And yet, oh my gosh, yes, we can languish and we can be dull and we can be empty. But all that is addictive, and it's also contagious. And so is humor, and so is optimism. And so I'm just trying to stay focused on whatever positive or whatever lightness. My word for the year is spark. So whatever we can do to spark a little energy and optimism, I think, I hope it's helpful.
You just gave me such an epiphany, my friend. I am going to write this. Too bad I can't buy this off the interwebs and post it in my house. But you just gave me the notion of I am contagious.
Yeah.
So what do I want to infect people with?
Yes.
Despair,
Bleh.
resentment, blah,
Fear, anxiety. No.
or humor?
Yeah.
I'm writing this down. I'm contagious.
You are contagious. So how do you want to be contagious? How do you want to infect people?
And things can't always be funny.
No, but you can infect people with your smile. It doesn't have to be laughter or humor, but a smile's good.
And acceptance.
Yes.
I was just thinking about life's been really hard for a dear friend. And so I can't show up with humor, but I can show up with humanity. I can show up, right? That's the other thing we can do, even when we are languishing, is continue to show up.
Yeah. Just be there.
Show up. And as Charles Amblos says, cut ourselves some slack
Yeah.
and cut those around us some slack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's been fun.
You always make me see things differently. I love that.
And you always help me have a broader perspective and keep up with that lightness and fun. It's awesome.
And think to yourself, thank God that didn't happen to me.
My kids would die.
My kids were driving in the car with me when I was telling them about it, and I kind of felt like they wanted to get out.
Be like, I don't know her.
Oh, you're infecting us with your embarrassment.
So funny. Well, thank you.
Cheers. Let's instigate something today.